I just see a man whose will is unbreakable, and he's been against big guys all his life. The man played rugby.
Yeah.
Like rugby's not big in the States or whatever, like, but
No,
like
it's
it's big
not, but
over in England. And mate, those
it's a rough
people
sport.
who play rugby, bro, they're not fighters, but they may as well be like.
All right, so we rarely got super fights, right? We got a big super fight now. We got Alexander Volkanovski, number one pound for pound fighter in the world, 25-1, facing off against the number 2 pound for pound fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev, 23-1. It's a huge fight. Again, it's probably a super fight. Two of the best fighters in the world. I don't think this has ever happened before where the number 1 and number 2 pound for pound fighters on paper fight each other. I think it's the first time ever. Oh, what a fight, man. There's a lot to unpack. And I'm going to let you go first. What are your thoughts on the fight overall?
Well, mate, you said it was probably a super fight, and I'll tell you what it is. This is a super fight. Never before has there been a number 1 pound per pound fighter against a number 2 pound per pound fighter. And we've got Habib Nurmagomedov's protege, Islam Makhachev, against Volkanovski, mate. I can barely contain my excitement. I mean, how does this one go, bro? How does this one go?
I mean, I got my own. I kind of have an idea, but who really knows what's going to happen? You know, that's kind of up for the MMA gods to debate, right? I mean, I guess if you want to ask me the question, I'll say I'll speak on it. I guess I would say that I just don't see how Volkanovski beats him. Two things can be true.
Really?
Yeah, two things can be true, right? Like this is a super fight, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's that. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I would be shocked if the fight, if you made it to like the fourth, if they're in the championship rounds and Volkanovski's still in there, man, respect, because
Yeah.
I just think Islam's gonna get it done, and I think he's gonna finish him, and he's
Yeah.
finishing everyone now. And there's no discredit to
He is.
Volkanovski, but
Yeah.
that's what I think. Yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean, to be fair, we've been doing this podcast for like maybe 6 months. I don't know, a long time now. When have I ever went against Dagestani people? And I haven't. Never.
Right.
Not to say that. Not that I say that I will now, but I just think Volkanovski's got that little thing in him. Like, have you been watching the embeds and stuff? This guy is
Saw a
pumped up.
couple.
He's jumping up. He's going for it, man. You know what I mean? And Volkanovski, I think striking. This is like it's not. Everybody knows this. Volkanovski's maybe the better striker.
Yeah, for sure.
Granted, he's a smaller guy. He is, yeah. And we all know Islam's game plan is to take him down, get him down there, make him tired, make him tap. The old Dagestani narrative. You know what I mean? But I just think Volkanovski, coming from like Ortega, when Ortega had him down, nobody survives that. What Ortega done to him, and I just think he wasn't pound for pound number 1 then. Now he is now. I just think there's something weird hitting me that Volk's gonna win. Honestly, I
Really, you
feel
got
that way, bro.
Volkanovski winning this fight?
You know what? It pains me to say, but I think on Australia territory, I just think he's gonna go out and do it, mate. I do.
You know, I gotta say, I don't know. Have we done like 6, 7 pay-per-views, something like that at this point? That's
We're,
probably this is probably the most shocked I've been by your pick, to be
yeah,
honest. I'm
mate.
shocked, dude.
Trust me. No, listen. Like I said, just when I was going at that, I've never bet against Dagestanis, Habib, Islam, whoever it may be. But there's something just tingling me about this. There really is, and I just think it's like I've seen a couple of previews with Stylebender talking about how Volk trains, everything like this. And I
Yeah.
feel like a part of it is because Islam is they're underestimating the short guy. And I feel like a lot of it is that. And I just don't know. And let's be honest, Islam, I love him, right? And he's a great fighter. He's pound for pound number 2. He's not Habib, he's really not. I love Islam, great fighter, but I just don't think he's that level. And I know like people improve as fighters, but Islam got stopped in the UFC, bro.
Yeah.
And he
I
got
mean, it
stopped
was a
by
long
a
time
lesser
ago,
fighter.
but yeah.
It was a long time ago, yeah, it was. But I just, well, a long time ago. When was the last time Volk got stopped? He's been undefeated
It's a
since
long time ago
2010.
as well. He lost to his only loss is at 185 pounds. So it wasn't even like in that any of that range at all of weight
That's crazy,
classes.
bro. That's crazy. I mean, Volk, he's been a middleweight and he's featherweight champion. Like, it's different. Like, he used to be a fat guy. You don't lose that.
That's what Israel Adesanya said. That like his
Yeah.
something just about his muscles that are just, I don't know.
Mhm.
Like he's just
Well,
powerful. It's like a different kind of strength. I get what you're
I'm
saying.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Listen,
I'm sorry to come out as hard. I don't think I've ever came out as hard as this on like a podcast and saying Volk's gonna win, but it's just like, can you imagine if Volk wins, man? Double champ status in Australia against a Dagestani who people think who he cannot be beat. And I get that narrative, I really do, because Makachev is scary guy, the scariest, and we love that.
yeah.
You know, we talk all the time. He's the scariest guy ever, but this is something that I can feel about this happening. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I've got to go with my gut instinct, and I think Volkanovski decision maybe. I'm not going to say he's going to go out and stop Makachev because that would be just
You
different level.
know,
But I think
that's even
decision.
more surprising to me because I think Volkanovski personally is going to have to knock him out, man. I don't see how a fight
Mm,
goes 25 minutes where Islam doesn't get his hands on him a
yeah,
whole bunch of times. All
yeah,
right, let me ask you this though. If the fight
mm,
goes to the ground and you know for a fact, you know it and I know it that this fight's going
yeah.
to the ground at some point. You really think Volkanovski's going to survive? I have a very hard time seeing it.
That's all now. That's why it makes it so interesting. I mean, my gut
Charles
feeling says
Oliveira,
no.
the guy with the greatest, arguably the greatest offense from his back in UFC history, the most submissions in UFC
Yeah,
history.
yeah,
And this guy on top of him just finished him and fairly quickly, right when he got on
he
him,
did. Yeah,
mounted him, got him. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to Volkanovski, right? But I mean, look, you brought up also the Ortega fight, and I think that's a fair point. And I was going to bring up
mm,
that there's two sides of the coin to that, and you already brought up the one side, so now I don't have to do that. But I'm going to bring up the other side still, in that Ortega is not Islam Makhachev. Like
he's
he's
not.
just not. There's a
No,
whole nother level that is applied. There's a whole nother
a
level of
different
skill.
squeeze.
There's a whole nother level of of skill. There's a whole nother
Yeah,
level
yeah,
of squeeze on it, like you just said. And there's just a whole nother level of just experience. Like he's been doing it even
hmm,
longer than Ortega. Like this guy's been doing this
yeah,
since he was born, pretty much. He's been wrestling. Like these guys wrestle
yeah,
bears, like it's in their I
hmm,
don't know.
yeah.
Like
Well, yo, Marcus, this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like a fraud. I said I've never bet against a Dagestan dude, but I just say some of them I feel. If I was a betting man, if I was playing some money on, I would say Islam.
so you would bet if
But
your life
I
was on
just,
it, you would bet Islam, but you have a feeling about
yeah. But the thing, just look at Volk now.
Volk.
Look at the run he's on. Do you remember there was a couple of podcasts ago we were saying Max Holloway is the best featherweight ever, and he
Yeah,
was.
I thought he was. I think
Volkanovski
Volk
made
is
him,
now.
and Volk made him look stupid. And to do that to someone like Max Holloway, what's stopping him from doing it against this Dagestani guy who's unbeatable?
Still
Doesn't
hurts me to talk about that Volk Holloway fight. I'm a big Holloway fan.
listen.
I can't.
Yeah, so am
No,
I,
I
bro.
campaigned
So
for
am
how
I.
long that Holloway was going to beat him. Like,
Yeah, I know, and we've talked about that at length, bro. But I just think, you know what? Like I said, there's some feeling, and I've got it wrong many times on this show. Many times I've got it wrong, but I'll always go with my gut. And I don't know, man. I just feel like Volk's some guy who, when he's backs against the wall and he's got something to prove, I feel like time and time again he's went out there and done it. And this is the biggest test of his life. What's stopping him from doing it again? And let's not forget, nobody puts respect on his name, mate. He's pound for pound number one fighter in the world, and people don't seem to realize that.
yeah, you're right. I think I think a lot of it is that for a long time people kind of didn't give him the credit he deserved because of Max
Yeah.
Holloway, because they thought Max won the
Mm,
second fight. And then now just he kind of just recently became the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. So
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. It's weird, but I think I think people do respect him. But I also think
Hmm.
people sleep on Islam too. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. And I see a lot of people that I'm gonna be honest. I'm so confident in Islam that I'm shocked the amount of people that I've seen. No offense to you as included, picking
Yeah,
Volk. I know
yeah,
you got a feeling about it. But man, I
yeah.
just here's the thing that I wanted to bring up. If Islam is to lose, I think two big factors are gonna come into play here. I don't remember Islam ever going into an enemy territory and getting
Yeah,
it done in a big
yeah,
fight. It always seems like he's like at home in like Dubai or Abu Dhabi, and like recently at
yeah.
least where the crowd's highly in his favor. He's about to go into a big stage. He's never been in a big stage like that against the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. He's never been in a super fight of this magnitude. He's never been on the spotlight like this. He's never been in rival territory where everyone's going to be cheering for Volk. You heard it in the press conference. And the second thing is there's no Khabib in his corner this time. This is the first time since I can remember. I mean, I'm sure there's been fights, but since I can remember in a long time that Khabib's not in his corner, you know, what's that going to do to his psyche? Is he going to be, I think he's going to be just fine because I'm picking him. But I think those two things, if something were to happen, might come into play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, this is a game of MMA. There's so many intrinsic bits about it. Another thing we're forgetting about. I mean, you raise a good point with Khabib not being in the corner. I mean, Khabib is when Bilal Muhammad had Khabib, it's like a cheat code.
Yeah,
that's what they say, isn't it?
Seemed like it, right?
He's not there. Also, we're forgetting about the weight cut. How much weight does Islam cut to get down there? Volk's chilling right now. Volk's only cut like what? How much? Who knows, man? He's keeping healthy. He's not cutting much. That depletes you as well. But again, I don't see Volk knocking him out like anything like that. I just see the decision. I see a smart decision. I see him getting took down because let's be honest, when you're against Islam or Khabib or anything like that, you're getting took down, mate. That's like that's a given.
So you trust he's gonna survive all the times he gets taken down, he's gonna get back up to his feet. That's what you think is gonna happen.
Well, judging by your question there, I think you think the road of victory for Islam, he's gonna keep getting taken down and Volkanovski is gonna give up. But for
that's all they do, yeah, for sure.
Make him tired, make him tap. Yeah, that whole thing. But
exactly.
But I get that, mate. But it's like I've always been a true believer in that. But like I said, there's some feeling. I can say there's some feeling all I want. But at the end of the day, what I've seen with Ortega, and honestly, I go back to that again. Like I just see a man whose will is unbreakable, and he's been against big guys all his life. The man played rugby.
Yeah.
Like rugby's not big in the States or whatever. Like, but
no,
like it's big over in England. And mate, those people
rough sport.
who play rugby, bro, they're not fighters, but they may as well be. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
and it's a rough sport, and I just think, I don't know, man. I think Vol gets it done by decision.
Okay.
And I'll be willing to place 10 British pounds on it.
Okay. Well, you might win some money because he's like a +2 something underdog, it seems like. And it seems like, you know, people, the odds makers seem to think Islam Makhachev is, I think he's like a -300. I mean, listen, can I see that where he sort of evades it and you see like a battered up Volk at the end of 5 rounds and he ekes out a decision? Maybe. I mean, look what he's done every fight. Just look what he's done to just Dober, Bobby Green, Oliveira, like the list, like it's just
they are not Volk. They are not Volk. It's a different level. I mean,
but he's not even a 55er either. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, did you see how much bigger Islam looked than him at the weigh-in? Sucked up. What do you think is going to happen when he adds those 20 pounds back?
I know. You know, this is like
Volk looked tiny, bro, at the fate when they faced off against him. He looked like half his size, honestly.
Where is the short guy? It makes for a good fight, man. I mean, you know how I usually say I'm going to watch it next day? I've got my alarm set for 4:30 in the morning.
I don't even know what time it's at. What time is that fight at?
Well, it's catered for the American audience. So
it is?
Yeah, so it's normal time. It's like it was in America.
I saw something on Twitter, but I wanted to double check it, that it was at 10 o'clock Eastern.
Which was awful, mate, because if it was like Australian time, where it was like 10 p.m. water fight for Australians,
okay,
it would have been like 2 p.m. for me.
It would have lined up finally for you.
Oh yeah, perfectly, mate. But you know, I'm setting it on for 4:30 because I can't miss this fight. And I'm telling you, I just got a feeling about Volkanovski, but would I be surprised if Islam won? Absolutely not, because I never go against the Dagestanis. Yeah,
great,
pretty much, bro. What round do you think Islam gets it done in?
I think 2 or 3 for sure. I think Volk is. I'm not going to disrespect him and say he gets finished in the first round. I don't think so. I think he'll be able to move away. But again, I'm going to tell you this: I'd be shocked if it's in the champ. If I see Volkanovski still in there with him in the championship rounds, again, I'd be shocked. I would be really surprised seeing him in there for a 4th and 5th round. I think I think he'll get it done in the 3rd round. I think in the 3rd round, just because he's the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world, he's going to go farther than like most of the other past opponents. But
Yeah.
let's talk about this before we finish up, right? Since we are just talking about this fight today. All right, so you got Volk winning. Volk wins. What's next? Do you think he stays at 55? Because I don't think this is one of those situations. I think he definitely goes back down to 145 pounds and unifies the belt with the winner of
Mm.
Emmett and
Yeah.
who's the other guy
What a
again?
fight that is.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Oh yeah,
Yair Rodriguez.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rodriguez. Yeah,
What a fight that is, by the way. I mean, we weren't going to talk about it much, like, but all I can say is that's going to be a barn burner. But to
it's a good
answer your
fight.
question, what do I think Volk will do? I feel like if I was Volk, I'd probably stay at 155 pounds. But again, why would you? Because that opens up a can of worms of killers. You've got Dustin Poirier,
Exactly. Right.
Michael Chandler, all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe continue to be like the featherweight GOAT because I still feel like even though Volk's done what he's done, there's still doubts about him being the GOAT. People still think Jose Aldo's the GOAT,
Yeah.
which,
Oh, Volk,
I'm
if
not,
Volk wins this
bro.
fight, dude, he's like maybe minimum like a win or two away from just being the GOAT, honestly. Or he might, if
What
not
GOAT?
already, if not already.
What the GOAT overall or featherweight?
I think so, dude. I really
What
do.
overall?
I don't, dude. Yes, I think
Oh
so.
God, man.
And you know what I thought
No.
about him? You know what I
What
thought?
over John Jones?
No, well, here's the deal, right? John Jones,
Oh,
we have the whole thing with John Jones. There's a lot of controversy. I think John Jones is the GOAT, but I'm saying, here's what I'm saying. I think if Volkanovski is able to beat Islam Makhachev and beats like two other Hall of Fame UFC fighters, I think you seriously have to put him in the discussion. Now that I actually think about it, like I wouldn't put him past Jones because I think the resume for Jones is always going to be there. But dude, how can you not put him in there in the mix? Think about it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
If you just take that loss is dumb to even hold against him. So how about Khabib? A lot of people think Khabib is one of the best of all time, right? Top two or three. I mean, if you take away that his last 5-6 fights, a lot of the guys he fought were handpicked by his father in those promotions, and they were not good. Like the only dude, like Habib's resume, if you want to start comparing to a lot of other people, is not even that good. Like I would have Volk is like 2 wins away from being better than Khabib, in my opinion, on the all-time list.
And you know what? And just so I was like saying about featherweight GOATs, that Volk is not like Volk beat Jose Aldo, bro.
Yeah.
I forget
Mendez,
about that.
Aldo,
You know what I mean?
Holloway 3 freaking times.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You know what, Marcus, you've changed my mind. Volk could be up there. If he does this is a real conversation.
Are you kidding? Yeah. Look at the resume.
Fuck, man.
So if Habib is one of the GOATs, then what's Volk? Volk would have a better resume at that point, in my opinion. Double champ.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the people he's faced. I mean, come on, dude. If he's able to take out Yair Rodriguez afterwards and then go back and defend the 55 title, what if he beats Islam again, dude?
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, featherweights. I need to give I always represent for the British. Arnold Allen is undefeated right now in the UFC. He's got a fight. He's fighting Max Holloway next. Volk needs to beat that guy as well. Come on, let's go.
Oh, he's coming through the weeds too, Arnold Allen. Oh my god, yeah, he is
best sport in the world, bro. We say all the best sport in the world.
Okay, so Islam wins. What do you think goes down? He probably fights the winner of Beneil Dariush versus Oliveira. You heard that they announced that fight a couple recently. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I saw it on Twitter. Had a bunch of retweets, so I'm going to say that it's official or all close to official.
You know what? Dariush doesn't get the respect that he deserves. He never has.
He might beat Oliveira, dude. MMA is all about momentum. How many times you see a guy take one L and it's just downhill from there? If Dariush is riding, Dariush can very much beat him, and we might be seeing that.
Dariush is good, mate. Dariush is very good.
Oh yeah, he's a dark horse of the division, I think.
Yeah. He's got something to prove as well. But what do I think Makhachev does? I feel like he follows in the footsteps of Khabib. He probably won't retire as early, but I think they just rain on lightweight. In the press conference, I heard Makhachev was maybe considering going up to the welterweight 170, but is there anything there for him?
I think he can beat, depending on who the champion is. I really think he can win a title at 170 as well.
But I don't think Makhachev and Usman would fight because they've got the same.
But Usman ain't the champ right now, So yeah.
But I think he will be after London. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
I know I'm British.
Okay.
I know I'm British, but let's be honest.
You know how you have a feeling about Volk? If I had to put my life on it, I'm going with Kamaru Usman, but I got a feeling about old Rocky, buddy. I got a feeling about him.
Why do you always go against me, bro?
Uh,
Every time,
no,
every
we've
time.
got. I think the last card we hit like 5 for 5, where we like all agreed on. I think on like every fight. I
Mm.
think maybe, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's what makes it so fun. Like that's why,
Yeah,
again, it's the best sport in the world. You just don't know. I mean,
no,
did we do a preview to Usman and Edwards, or was it a review? I think it was a
it was a
review.
review. Thank God we
All
did a
right.
recap for that one, right? Because imagine,
Yeah,
because I don't think
yeah,
we
because
any of us
we would have
picked
said
the.
Usman.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah. So that worked out well. See, the MMA gods tend to sort of align everything properly. I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Everything works out for the best,
Exactly.
unless it's Habib versus Tony, and then that never happened.
Oh, that's well, that was cursed from the start. And then look, here's my last question to you before we wrap this up. Can
Yeah,
Islam Makhachev, because I think he's gonna win and go and just dominate and smash all these other contenders, right? So if
smash.
that happens, what I think is gonna happen is he better than Habib at one? Because it's gonna get to the point where it does that one
No.
loss is whatever. I get it, it's a one loss, but dude, if he beats, let's say, double the people Habib beat in the top 5, you know, Habib went through that like 5, 6 fight stretch where
Yeah,
he dominated. What if Islam goes on a 10, 12 fight stretch of like the same caliber guys?
yeah, I get it. I know what you're saying, right? But I think Makhachev would have to beat another like 5 people to have the Habib status because when it comes down to it, it's a fight game.
He can
And
though.
and no, I know you can, but I just think of Habib against Michael Johnson. Nobody's done that before. When you're getting people against the fence, you have to give up now. Like that's different class. The ease he had when he was in the cage, it's a different level. But listen, man, Makachev beats another 5 people. When he's champ, he's going to have higher caliber than Habib did. He's not going to have last minute ally replacements. No disrespect for him, because he showed heart in that fight. I think it's going to take a bit, but Makachev could be the good, 100%.
Yeah, it's dude, who knows, man? You know, 8 to 10 fights down the line, or maybe even 5 or 6. We might be having a whole
Mm-hmm.
different discussion. Who knows? Anyway, it's gonna be a great fight. Thanks for stopping in and breaking it down, man. UFC 284 in Australia this Saturday. Check that one out. Number 1 versus number 2, pound for pound. Can't wait to see it, man.